part of this is due to the fact that there's no injury tracking or trending at a lot of facilities. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, I'm not currently doing that, so how can I know what some of the most common citations or problems that exist are? Well, on OSHA's website, I'm going to cover these because they resonate with this case study as well as the next two. OSHA's citations for the top 10 for eating and drinking places are hazard communication, which was evident in this case study. General requirements, that would be PPE. This could be contributed to their amount of cuts and lacerations. General electric deficiencies, wiring methods, components, and equipment. Medical services and first aid, which could increase the severity of the injuries that occurred on site. Other general requirements like walking working surfaces, which was the most large cost contribution, and maintenance safeguards and operational features for exit routes, which wasn't really present in any of these case studies, as well as portable fire equipment, eye and face protection, and general requirements for machines. But something that's important to mention, and that the owner stated whenever we were out to sea in one of these instances, was that they felt that cuts and lacerations were the main contributor to costs, when actually it was slips, trips, and falls, almost 7.5 times the cost. They pretty much had the same frequency. I think that it was 8 for cuts and lacerations and 10 for slips, trips, and falls. But you'll notice that slips, trips, and falls are much higher cost generally. So it's important to know not only what's occurring at your site so that you can provide educational materials to correct these issues, but also to know what's happening in a broader sense so you can kind of look out for that as well. And I know that Keith mentioned some of the other associated costs, so I won't go into much more detail with that. But I will go ahead and mention that I did an injury cost analysis for this particular case study, and you'll notice that if slips, trips, and falls had been prevented, they would have had an annual premium savings of almost $30,000. That's quite a chunk of change. Now, for struck by or caught between injuries, you'll notice that it's $45,000. And I did an extra traditional group scenario to see, well, what would they qualify for if they had prevented these injuries in both categories. And you can see that that's almost $60,000. And like I said, that's pretty much all I've got for this.
All right, so that's a lot of information on just that one case study from all these different perspectives as far as risk management, hazard management. So, those are some serious numbers there. I mean, you're talking $60,000 a year. But, you might be thinking to yourself there, well, people slip and fall in restaurants. Yeah, that's true. But is there something that could be done that's cost effective, that's appropriate? Maybe. Maybe there was. So we get that a lot where you just can't prevent it. People just slip and fall. Well, maybe there's some type of treatment you can put on the floor. Maybe it's a problem with flooring. Maybe it's a problem that they're being rushed, or it's a housekeeping issue. Oftentimes we find that it's something that can be addressed. And so you can make the effort.